All right, what's up? We're live. Snuffing Torches Survivor 48 finale. Got the full crew for one of the limited times this season. Me, Nate, Clemmer, John Rich. If you're watching in the chat right now, like, share, subscribe, all that. I apologize to the people watching live because right now we are, if you see the four of us in different positions than usual with our heads going up, that's because we're watching the end of the Knicks-Pacers game one of the Eastern Conference Finals overtime. There's like a minute left right now. Pacers are up one. They had an insane comeback. So as Clemmer said, I can't believe we're going up against this. I didn't expect, 8 p.m. game. I was like, 3-hour episode. It'll be perfect by the time the game's over.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the count is of people who are watching both us and the Knicks game right now. I can't imagine it's very many, but
this couldn't have worked out worse for us.
No,
where it was.
But listen, there's going to be people listening tomorrow and stuff. So, they want to hear about Survivor. But if you see us tailing off, it's because of the Knicks game. 3-hour finale. Really not a great finale, to be honest. I thought it was the final tribal counts. I thought it was one of the biggest dud final tribal councils of all time. There was no crazy vote or anything like that. But it did ultimately give us a satisfying winner. In my mind, I think Kyle, great winner. I think he, under the radar, played one of the best first-time Survivor games ever, honestly, as a winner. I mean, not, top 5, but I think talking about a season 1, I think it's a top 15 win of all time for
he was playing against Dodo Brains, so
still he played it perfectly.
He played he realized, like, I'm playing against Dodos, so if I just act normal, he made one move and they're like, Kyle, you god. I think he's a good player. I think him and Camila were the two best players on the season, maybe by far. But I'm not about to crown him. I think he was good, but I want to see him against players with 2 brain cells.
No, that's fair. And I mean, and to become like a Survivor legend, obviously you have to do it in a returning season 2. But he's a guy almost like a Jeremy or a Kim, where it's like they're just designed to play Survivor. Like you could plop them in the middle of any season, and I think they would do really well. He didn't really win many challenges outside of tonight.
I think Camilla is the better player.
I think it was smart of Kyle to find Camilla. Or for them to find each other. Like, I think, Nate, you're not entirely wrong. Calling it the season of dodo birds, you're not wrong. There were a lot of, there wasn't the same intellect we've seen in recent seasons. But those two were really smart. They found each other. And it was very telling at the end during that reunion show when they said, who would have voted for Camilla? And it was unanimous. Camilla not making fire cost her $1 million, which is...
Well, I mean, if the producers didn't run in and pour water on her fucking straw and then hand Eva gasoline, maybe she would have made fire. If you watch it back, there's a very strange cut in the camera in the middle of making fire.
And I'm sure Camilla would agree to that, of course, because why would she not agree to be a part of that?
Should have a choice. You sign something in the tiny print where it's like entertainment purposes only.
Well, she wanted Kyle to win. She didn't want to split the votes with Kyle.
If you squint and change your TV resolution, you can see a flamethrower behind Eva. You can see it. It's all I'm saying.
But no, I mean, listen, I think that Camilla played a great game. I think her confessionals were really funny. Like, I would love to see her back again. But yeah, I mean, I think Kyle... The reason for him, I mean, they weren't up against each other, but the reason that I think he played the more impressive game is he kind of played the middle. Camilla was on the outside. She didn't fake being the majority alliance. Kyle faked the whole merge that he was in the majority, the strong alliance with David Joe, while he was secretly running with Eva. And I think, as you saw, like, Kyle's social game was great. Like, him and Joe had a tight bond. Eva felt tight with him. Mitch felt tight with him, apparently. He was like, oh, yeah, I thought it was me, Kyle, and Camilla the whole game. So I think Kyle's social game was outstanding, and then he knew how to use those relationships he built strategically to get him all the way to the win, to the $1 million.
Never forget, Kyle kept Camilla alive at least once. I want to say twice by using those social alliance he had with the kind of the Joe and the Eva and that crew, kind of the core group, if you will. like he was able to leverage them to keep Camila alive longer than she probably should have. Than she
would. To be fair, though, Camila kept Kyle alive pre-merge when she gave him the idol and they took out Thomas. So it was symbiotic. They helped.
Very, very true, Tommy.
But yeah, I think overall Kyle, really good winner. Seems like a nice, likable guy. So happy for him. I mean, we'll go through the whole.
And that's it. Because if I say anything else, I'm gonna get fired.
Listen, we'll get to Eva. We'll talk through it all. We got 18 seconds left in this next game.
Can I say this is one of the more likable seasons? Like this, look, not likable people on the season. Let me say that. This was not.
No, you may not say that. No, you may not.
I really like these are people that I like. I like a lot.
I like Shaheen. I like Kyle. Mary was funny.
I like Mitch. I like Joe. These are people that I liked. I don't think they played Survivor very well.
I think they played unlikable games, but they weren't unlikable people.
Well, I'm saying they're not any more likable or unlikable than any other season. Is I guess what across the board. Like there's a Joe in every season. There's a Shaheen in every season.
They tended more towards boring though. Like I think
no argument here.
Yeah.
No, this is not a good season. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I misspoke. This is a season. I just like these people. It just seems likable to me.
I'm not arguing with you, but their whole concept was let's be best friends forever and kiss each other on the mouth before bed and make no big moves, stab nobody in the back. And
maybe that's why they seem likable, Nate.
That's what I'm saying.
They weren't playing Survivor. They just seemed like people you want to go hang out with. They did not. This is not a good season of Survivor. This is in the bottom 20% of seasons. So no argument here.
Yeah, if you mean they were likable just as like people you'd want to get a beer with.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That I would agree with. But unfortunately, this is a reality show and they didn't bring that aspect as well.
And like Heather, you're the MVP of the chat. She said Joe is way more likable than the average person. I disagree with that because I'm not in Survivor world. To me, Joe's not likable. Joe's willing to kill himself to keep Eva alive, like quite literally kill himself to keep Eva alive. To me, that's not likable.
It's not likable as a player, but as a person, he's a
very
guy.
That's
Joe
out of here.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Joe
I'd love to have a friend like that.
But you're not on Survivor to make friends.
Well, that's not what's
coming up. That's saying. Two separate things.
Okay. He's a good guy in real life.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to know that. I don't want to watch Survivor and know that he's a good guy in real life.
Yeah, and to Kyle's credit, he, like, knowing that Joe and Eva were those people, he could not have played them better. Like, he played I don't think Kyle, I don't think the best player in Survivor history could have played a better game in Kyle's situation than Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, the issue I had with Kyle throughout the season that I'm sure we said a few times on here is that it felt like he was waiting too long to make the move, right? He had the secret alliance with Camila. All right, it worked for them when they got out Thomas with the idol. It worked when they were able to get out David. But until last week with the Shaheen vote, we didn't really see the payoff. And it's like, Kyle, what are you doing? Use Camila. Go align yourself with all these underdog outsiders and take out Joe or take out Eva and take out the people running this game. So that was frustrating at points. But I mean, when he ends up winning the whole fucking game, you can't question that. Obviously, he had a better read on the cast than we did. I think that this would be maybe one season, I would say, where I feel like the read on the cast from the players on the island versus the read on the cast from the audience were like night and day. Jalen Brunson 3, oh my God, that was bad.
No.
Back out. Karl Anthony Towns 3, way too short. Bridges, rebound.
Oh, you're ahead of me. Fuck.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm already.
Oh, that's fine.
Wait, why does this guy call me a woke lib? I think I'm the least woke lib when it comes to my Survivor takes.
Anyway, what I was saying, I feel like the people on the island, there was a way different perception of what was happening versus us watching. Like us watching the whole season, we're like, how the fuck can you take Joe and Eva to the end? There's no way that you can beat them. There's no way you can beat them. Eva, you got to get her out. You got to get her out. Take Mitch to the end. And then in reality, Kyle was like, no, I think I could beat Joe and Eva at the end. And he ended up being right. Clemmer with that shit-eating grin watching the Knicks lose.
The great collapses in NBA history.
They were up 18. I didn't even think I had to turn it on.
It is crazy. Anyway, Kyle Kyle, well-deserved game. We'll walk through some stuff from the beginning. We start off tree mail. It's the puzzle lock thing. Eva ends up winning it. You got to count the dots on the animals. It was secure instead of rescue. And that brings us to the challenge, mud nets.
I was going to say the advantage itself was
very underwhelming.
Like worthless almost. Like ridiculous, like the most ridiculous advantage ever given in Survivor history.
I was like, wow, now that Eva win it, is it going to be like your advantage is you win the challenge? But it was just like, yeah, it might have saved her 10 seconds. If you just get it on the first throw, then it doesn't even save you any time. So underwhelming.
And we saw people do exactly that too. It wasn't like it was impossible to do in the first throw.
No, it was not a very difficult throw at all.
Yeah, I always bring up that before they've given people way too big of advantages in this one, and then this one they miscalculated. Maybe the people testing it were like just bad at tossing the ball, and they're like, that'll be a huge advantage. I don't know. But I didn't mind it being a small advantage.
Yeah, I think there's a middle ground that they haven't found. I would lean more on the side of the smaller advantage than the big advantage for sure. So I'm okay with it. But yeah, Eva must have been pretty pissed that was all she had.
Well, she had 4-course meals every day for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Camila ends up winning. She has a huge comeback in the challenge. She takes Eva on the reward. She's like, oh, Eva's hungry. Eva went on every reward this. Like, people are talking about Joe's immunity challenge record. I mean, I don't know, and I'm sure some Survivor fan out there, maybe they can go through the numbers. She has to have been taking on more rewards than any player in Survivor history.
Eva didn't play Survivor in as much as she went to like Survivor fantasy camp, where like she had every possible good thing that could have happened. It was almost like you've ever seen the movie The Game with Michael Douglas, where everything's kind of geared around him? It's almost like that, where it's almost like this is like just an experiment. Dude. Or a thing she paid a lot of money to go through, but didn't exactly.
I'm going to try to be nice, but like everything was handed to her the entire time. And if one little thing went against her, it was fucking January 6th down there. It was.
I mean, again,
insane.
And I said she like getting mad at Eva for any of her behavior, whether
I'm
it's
not
early
getting
in the season, whether it's the fire, you definitely get mad at her. It's like she's autistic.
Nate wasn't mad.
Like I said, it'd be like getting mad at a blind guy for failing an eye exam. Like that's her disability. She has social meltdowns over things. I think the hate, and I'm not just saying you, like the online Survivor hate for Eva was crazy. And like at first it could be fun, but I think it got so like it could be fun in the sense of like, yeah, we're gonna treat her like any other player, and like you want to have players you like and don't like. But the way people hated her, I thought was way over.
I think people maybe take it out on her when it should be taken out on the edit, and the way the players also played differently and terribly because of her, how she used it to her advantage. Like, I think there was just a lot of moving pieces and a lot that people wouldn't say to the camera about the situation. Like, I think there was times people want to say like, she had it, there's a Roan battle rap where he talks about exactly this. He's like battling an autistic guy. He's like, because you're autistic, you have this, and this. Actually, the person with the disadvantage is me. And that's kind of how like she got to the final three. And I'm not blaming her or saying, like, I think it's a way more interesting piece of the puzzle than Survivor was actually willing to dig into. Because if you want to talk about pure gameplay and using your brain or whatever to your advantage, disadvantage, she makes the final three because of that. And they never touched on that.
Now, listen, if you want to have the conversation that she shouldn't have been casted and it brings in things to the game that, could affect the game where people are going to feel weird voting her out and there's going to be, dancing around it. That's totally fair. That's a totally different conversation. Like, if you want to say it was a bad, but like, I also you're not going to blame her for applying to her favorite show and agreeing to go on. And I understand it from the casting and producers where it's like, wow, this will be like a cool story and we'll get some moments out of it. And they did, like with Joe earlier in the season and Jeff crying. But I'm just saying, like, when people are like, can you believe this fucking bitch is like having like a little bit of a meltdown because she's under a lot of pressure. It's like, yes, I can believe that that's happening. She's autistic.
Yeah,
I think there's another part of this too that I think is important. Like, she's a young blonde girl, like she's young. Like, so when if someone with autism looked like me out there or looked like any of us, we're not gonna get babied the same way I think that Eva is. Like, Joe even said, like, I kind of look at her like my daughter, and Joe's my age. Joe's old enough to be her dad, and I think this is where the Survivor producers kind of fucked up. Like, I think having someone with autism is important because, like, we've seen people with one leg. We saw a stutterer. Like, I think you should have people represented on the show. But when you have someone on the show that has a disability that also is in a position where they could be babied just because of kind of who they are and where they are in life, I think that's made it
Clemmer. And I think
delicate.
they should have dove more into that. Like, I think that is way more interesting than her being autistic. I think it's the way people reacted to it. And I mean, with 4 people left, you have 2 people willing to go to fire for her. Like, I think that is way more fascinating than just.
Well, Kyle's was more of a strategic.
I understand.
Joe's was completely.
No, it wasn't though, Nate. Tommy, Nate's not wrong. Like, strategic, he had a full chance at winning. Like, he was doing that to be nice to her.
No, but when Kyle was considering, like, should I just take out Camila myself, it was more of like, maybe Eva can't win this. And like, Kyle was like, I need Camila not the final 3 if I want to win. What's my best way to do that? It's like, if Eva's going to have a meltdown during it, I'll just do it myself. It wasn't
that's
like
an interesting way
feeling
to look at
bad
it.
for
That's
Eva.
true.
It was more just like, how do you beat Camila?
Like, I think, and they would never do it, but if Jeff asked, like, Eva, was autism part of your game plan to make it further in this game where you have to outlast people? I think she would say yes. Like, is that crazy?
Say that again?
Like, if Jeff asked her, did you leverage your autism to make it further in the game? Was that part of your game plan? I think she would have to say yes.
No, I don't necessarily. Like, honestly, she's
self-aware.
The only thing you could say is that, like, she got a really good ally out of Joe in it, but like, she was her superpower in the game wasn't autism, was having a powerful, like, dominant alliance that just never wanted to turn on each other.
Because of other I'm not like trying to discredit her either. I'm just saying I think it's an interesting wrinkle that they didn't really dive into.
If someone blindsided her, that, people are playing this game knowing this is watched by millions of people. Like, what does that say about, like, what's going to be the optics on you when you go back home after just having blindsided? It's like a disabled young girl. Like, that's tough.
Yeah, that I think is a conversation of like, all right, then it's like, maybe it's casting or put a weird shadow over the season of like, how are people going to play different? You don't want to. I'm all for casting people from different walks of life and different disabilities, whatever it is. But you don't want to have anyone in the cast that is going to make people play differently.
Correct.
Yeah.
If she made people play differently, she certainly made Joe play differently. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
she made Star play differently. Star would not have given that idol up.
That's true.
If she hadn't just had that, that moment, which I think is good. It was on TV because I think a lot of people do. A lot of families probably are dealing with autism and the struggles that go with it. But it did change the competitive balance of the game.
Yeah, I think overall, Survivor's probably happy, definitely happy that she was on the show. Like, it gave the big moment with Joe, like the crying Jeff moment, and like, she was a great representation for like autistic people out there. She gets to the end, but you also, like, if she does win, then definitely there would be a whole different conversation going on, where if like she wins Survivor, there would be a lot of people being like, well, she only won because that, people felt bad for, yada yada. But she's able to get all the way to the end. You're still able to get someone to win where it's like there's no questions asked that Kyle deserved it or whatever. So I think it is like I think Eva's arc, like if we're looking at Survivor as like a drama, like I think Eva has a satisfying arc. Like, she starts off not knowing what to do on the island. She gets a close ally with Joe. Joe saves her or helps her at the meltdown in the early challenge. She's kind of fine the whole game. She wins a challenge, finds an idol, and she's about to like revert back to another meltdown before the final fire. Joe's there for her again. Joe helps her, talks her through it, and she overcomes the obstacle that she doesn't think she's going to be able to do of making the final challenge, and she wins the final Firemaking challenge, gets to the end, doesn't end up winning. But like, arguably, you could not script up a better game for Eva from like just a character arc perspective.
Yeah, I mean, her winning Fire was her best moment of the season.
Easily, I think. Yeah.
No, I agree, Tommy. Like her arc. I mean, she got little victories along the way. The idols. She got a bigger victory through the fire, and then got second place. But like, still walks out with her head held up high. But this isn't a drama. This is supposed to be an unscripted competition, and I think some people's competitive legs were taken out because she was in the game, which kind of sucks.
People just like what you were saying earlier, Tommy, and I guess two things. Like what Nate was saying, it would be super interesting if Survivor had the balls to put like a conversation between maybe like Joe and Shaheen where they're like debating, like there are probably conversations about Eva's autism outside, like aside from
were
Eva.
There? Like,
maybe there weren't, but like
I think the Clemmer's point
would be very compelling. That would be quite the conversation.
No, I agree with you. Like, if those conversations were had, it would have been great to see. But I kind of agree with Clemmer where, listen, there's a camera on you 24/7. Like, do you want to be the one guy?
Would they really show him if like they were having like, well, we can't really vote her out? Like if that was like the language being used, would they really show that?
But if someone did vote her out, they would though. They'd have to.
The players would be too scared to, I think, say it on camera.
But there's so much that's not being filmed. Like they're with each other for how many days? They got to be talking about that kind of stuff.
They are when the camera's not on. Like I said, the front facing stuff, and I said it's a lot worse voting someone out than like talking about like, can we do this? Than like actually doing it at Tribal and watching her melt down in front of you, and now you got to go to work the next day.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like, I guess it was probably off camera. I guess that's the answer to that.
Yeah,
they're probably having those conversations off camera.
Listen, it was an interesting arc to have this season for sure. It gave us a lot to talk about. I did get to a point where I started to feel bad for her, where I feel like she is getting so much. Like even like there was like Survivor, and we could talk about it a little bit at the end. Survivor posted today that the cast reveal for 50 will be next Wednesday, and just like the comments were, it's gonna be next Wednesday on the morning show or something.
Oh wow, okay.
And it was like, all the comments were just like, I'm sick of I'm sick of Eva button. Like someone said Teeny in the chat. That's what they know. I'm sick of Eva button. It's like, I understand being frustrated with the season, and I could understand being frustrated. It's like, wow, nobody took her out the whole time. Like, why is that? But I just feel like people getting mad at her herself is like, I don't know. Seems like a nice.
People just get so fucking mad if there's like any like semblance or any thought that somebody has an unfair advantage that like doesn't have something to do with the gameplay, and like whether like it's autism or just like literally anything, like, and it kind of happens in every season, right? Like not to this degree, but there's always a little bit of something like that. Like somebody comes in who's got kind of an inherent advantage because of who they are, and I think that is kind of like
this is like what Clemmer was saying about Dave and surviving Barstool. And they both came in second.
That's true, and none of them won.
Yeah, so I guess if you come into the game with an inherent advantage, whether that's being a boss or having autism, you come in second place.
Yeah, but I think that's like what makes Survivor good is they do want that sort of dynamics. My whole issue was, I mean, I'm not going to just rehash it. This guy's really mad at me in the YouTube chat.
No, listen. I think we've talked about the Eve issue as much as we could. I think we all.
I was going to say, who should be so thankful Eva was on the season is Mitch, because I think a lot of the Eva hate would be going to Mitch, and Mitch even said it. I like Mitch a lot. So Mitch, Tommy and I saw him at the premiere. He seems like the nicest guy. I love watching him on the show. I think he's a very nice guy. But he said it himself today. He's like, I should have made a move. It's like, bro, no shit.
He's got a lot of hate too, but like I would think he seems like a smart guy, fan of the show. If he realized it then, right on the island,
I know
he must really realize it watching it back for the last 2 months. Like,
and imagine everyone keeps saying, make a move when you know you should have, and you just got to sit there quietly. Oh, it's got to be. Now, to his credit, he made it all the way to the end. That's admirable. But that's a tough way to go out with having kind of regret you didn't do enough with your moment. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, let's just, I guess, talk about that vote. I mean, Camila wins. She takes Eva. I thought, so what I in my head, I was like, all right, well, we're going to have Kyle, Camila, and Mitch team up. They should vote for Joe, right? Because Eva's going to play her idol. Joe's a big threat. Then I was like, well, then if we really want to go, Eva then should give her idol to Joe, and they should blindside Kyle because they know that Eva's not going to get any votes. But I was like, knowing how this season has gone, everyone's just going to vote for Mitch, and that's exactly what happened. They all even told them. I would have liked to see Mitch show some more fight. I mean, it does. They probably were just so impenetrable of a 4, but I don't know. Maybe he did, and again, you don't see it in the edit because it's hours that get condensed down to minutes. But throw out more. Be like, no, fucking, let's get rid of Joe. He's the biggest threat to win. Like, I would have liked to see more. I mean, that ended up being one of the biggest snooze fests of a vote. Like,
Mitch had a funny clip, and he just under his breath goes, "Should have made a move." It's like, you had your chance last week and didn't take it.
So I have a question about this vote. Now I want to run this by you guys. This was kind of the hinge vote, even though it's as boring as it could be. Should Camila have gone after Kyle there? So Camila knows in her heart she doesn't want to sit next to Kyle. Should Camila have done something? And one of this keeps her up at night, or no. But rather than have it go to fire, should she have done something right there to take Kyle out, or is that not even?
I think that. Well, I mean, first of all, she was saying like it was weird. I mean, you had 2 duos playing for each other. Like, she even said like, I want to guarantee we both get to Final Four, so one of us get to the end.
Correct.
I don't really understand that line of thinking, but whatever. You get close with people after 25 days on a deserted island, I guess. But I actually don't think it would have even been the good game. I don't think Joe and Eva would have done it. She probably would have got Mitch to do it, obviously.
But then you still need one more though.
Right. I don't know if she.
So it's not like possible, or not like.
Yeah, it's probably not possible. And then let's play it out. Let's say she is able to do it. Then
when she wins.
Well, no. Well, she gets the Final Four.
She still can't make fire, and she loses.
Right. If Joe or Eva win the final challenge, they take each other.
And then Joe finished in second, so theoretically, you think he probably would have won that challenge, unless Mitch was incredible at that thing.
I mean, maybe she beats Mitch in fire. Maybe Mitch is really bad at fire too.
I think Mickey worse than Camila at fire.
Yeah, I think for Camila it was.
That was sad.
Yeah, that was tough. That's got to be the worst fire.
So I think no matter what Camila did, realistically, she probably had no way of winning tonight.
Unless she won the final immunity or fire.
But that didn't happen. But
well, yeah, I mean, that was
strategic. She could have done.
Right.
Okay, all right. That's what I wanted to walk through with you guys.
But yeah, I kind of felt bad for Kyle when Jeff was like, "Would Camila have won?" And everybody was like, "Every vote." It's like, all right, give Kyle a little.
Well, he does get the cast to check at the end of the
day. I can't. I don't feel too bad for Kyle.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, I mean,
I felt worse for Camila.
My game was discredited.
I felt worse for Camila in that moment because it's like, oh my god, if I just knew how to make fire, I'd be $1 million richer. That's
they didn't dump a gallon of water on her flint before telling her to make fire. She would have won.
Yeah. So Mitch goes home, and then I did think it was sort of a fitting Final Four, like Jeff, which almost kind of spoiled the season. But like before the press, he was like, "Oh, this is the season of duos." So like it does make sense that the Final Four is like the 2 biggest duos in the game. Although very opposite. I mean, you have Joe and Eva, who are the most in-your-face, obvious, like this emotional duo, have almost this father-daughter relationship, looking out for each other. Then you have Kyle and Camila, who were an under-the-radar, top-secret, like Oscar award-winning acting like duo, who were secretly running the whole game. I thought it was kind of I didn't love the path we took to get there, but the fact that was a Final Four, I thought it's one of the stronger Final Fours in recent memory.
We got kind of spoiled at the premiere. So when we were there, the second, so the whole cast was there at the premiere. And the second Joe and Eva were on screen together, the cast started clapping and cheering. And then I knew, he obviously didn't turn on her because.
I never picked up on that. So I was like you, like we watched the premiere, and I was kind of like, who's the cast cheering for? Who do they like?
Me too.
And I couldn't really. I thought the person that might have had the biggest cheer was Bianca the girl that came in like 14th. So I think I just completely misheard like the cheer. But I was pretty unspoiled from that because like the only thing I remember is like I think maybe Bianca got cheered and then she got voted out like immediately. So
the Eva Joe thing triggered with me. I didn't want to say anything to you because I didn't want to like have you like I just didn't talk about it again. But yeah, it was interesting. The cast was that supportive of them. So I guess that says a lot about them too as people because months later they were still cheering for them. So take that for whatever it's worth.
How do you guys feel about Kyle's overall edit this season? Like, obviously, the main characters were Eva and Joe. Do you think Kyle, like, do you think they showed enough of why he was a deserved winner?
I kind of don't agree that they were the main. I think Kyle was the main character, at least strategic. Like,
I think they were the second. I think Joe and Eva, your main characters, then Camila, Kyle, like your second main characters. Like, if you want to, if I had to tier them, no,
I was way above Camila though. It was like Kyle was like, it was kind of Joe and Eva versus Kyle in hindsight.
Kyle also got a winner's edit.
Mary had a nice edit too when she was in the game.
She did. I thought Kyle, like I was talking with Tommy about this a couple of days ago. Kyle got a winner's edit. I thought like all of his strategic moves worked. He never looked foolish. Like
never.
I felt like they're setting this guy up to win or lose like in heartbreaking fashion like Jesse.
Yeah, I guess if Camila won, Camila probably would have looked exactly like Kyle did in the edit.
Yeah, you can't do it exactly, but I thought he had a great winners. And I know what you're saying, Nate, where like Joe and Eva were like the main characters in the sense of like their emotional stories and personal stories and friendship, but like I think we saw the game the most.
Yeah, and I guess that's my problem is I wish they were better at highlighting the strategy side of it instead of the emotional side of it. And I think Jeff goes so in on the emotional side of it that it almost like steals the thunder from like the strategic side.
Well, you need to mix of both. And this season, honestly, there probably wasn't that much strategy. Like, how much strategy?
I guess that was an issue too.
Yeah, but I do think that, whether it's the Shaheen vote or David vote, I think that the person that was usually like explaining here's why the vote is happening is Kyle. And people always say like there's the Edgic community that really tries to study Survivor edits where it's like they say that whoever you're like kind of seeing explain the strategy of the game and the votes that's usually a good sign of a winner's edit. And I feel like while we heard people say like, oh, Joe's leading that alliance, Joe and Eva are leading that alliance, we didn't really see a lot of Joe and Eva in confessionals being like, here's why I'm voting this way tonight. It was more just like Eva would be like, I'm voting so-and-so tonight. They're outside the alliance. Joe, I'm voting so-and-so. Kyle, he would walk you through it more. I thought he had a great edit. And then he did have the moment where he's telling Joe about being in jail. So you had that like personal story too. I thought he had a really fleshed out edit. I think if you look at the confessionals too, I think he ended up with a ton.
Yeah, like his second half of the season was strong.
Yeah.
Funny comment from Ben in the chat. Wondering if Justin provided the pizza for the reunion. That was so funny. Poor Justin, the pizza guy.
Poor Justin. Going on for the final challenge. So Camila tells Kyle, like, I'm going to be honest with you. My best chance to win is not with you at the end. It's sitting next to Joe and Eva. I think our games will sort of overshadow each other. It'll be tough to differentiate. We'll split votes. Kyle kind of agreed. I think this is the right move by both of them. They're both smart for realizing it. Camila, I would have waited till after the challenge to say that though, because then Kyle wins the challenge and like, at least if Kyle wins, then Camila can be like, hey buddy, like we're going to the end together, right? Just like we've always said. But when you lay it out before the challenge, I think that was just unnecessary to do.
Camila got confident. I think she thought there was going to be a puzzle in that. Because she even said so when she got there. I think Camila thought there was a puzzle waiting for them, and she thought she had a good chance of winning that.
Yeah, instead we got some motions. My favorite final immunity. I love it.
Me too. It's just like it's pure focus, and anybody can win it. And it's just like I guess athleticism is not the right word. There's a little bit of reflexes to it, but it's just like who can just focus the hardest for the longest. And I love that for the final challenge.
Tommy, did you do that in Fiji?
I can't say.
I think you might have.
I'd
Can't
be
say.
jealous. I would love to try that out.
Can we make one? Can we build one?
That'd be
Very
awesome.
good. We probably talked to Will Arbuckle, who builds.
If we had one in the office, I would play every day.
Maybe it's on Etsy.
I mean, people definitely do. But yeah, I mean, I love that challenge. It is just like you said, after 25, 26 days, you're just out there. You know, you have to focus no matter how hungry, tired you are. So I love it. Kyle ends up winning. And for me, that was like, all right, well, Kyle wins the game. So I thought it was interesting where I was on another Survivor podcast last week, Specialists, and I basically almost nailed this exact prediction of finale. But
bully for you.
What?
You said bully for you.
Yeah, I mean, I know ball. I said that Kyle would win the final challenge and take Eva because, I mean, listen, if you told me in the beginning of the season that Eva got to the finale, I would have been like, well, no one's going to want to sit to the end with her, right? But I think last week's when we started to see that Eva wasn't really viewed as a threat to win out there. I mean, obviously she ended up winning, but like, I don't think people viewed her as much as a threat to win. So I was like, all right, well, Kyle's going to take Eva. And then, you know, he'll make Joe and Camila go against each other. And then he only has really one person to worry about. But I sort of agree. I actually definitely agree with his decision to take Joe to the end. Because although it might look stupid in the moment where it's like, you're going to take the guy with the biggest chance to win. I think it was clear that Kyle's game plan was, I'm going to get to the end with Joe and Eva and explain why I played better and the times I pulled the wool over their eyes. And whether it's the Shaheen vote or Dave, like, you know, Camila alliance, like I actually was controlling them. You can't do that if like at Final Four, you all of a sudden were like, well, Joe's a huge threat to win. I got to put him in fire. Like I got to put Joe in fire. Like I think you have to, you know, go stand 10 toes down and be like, I want to go to the end with Joe. I didn't vote him out all game because I want to go to the end with Joe and I think I can fucking beat him. So I kind of get that.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with what Kyle chose there at all. I think it was a smart play. Obviously, it worked out for him. He won, but like but I didn't even in real time. I didn't have an issue with it.
I think that if Joe ended up winning, we would have looked at that as one of the dumbest things of all time.
He must have just known, right?
Yeah, I mean, he only got one vote. Like
it must have just been a good vibe. Like at some point, you just have to trust your gut.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like I think that, and maybe people will look back on the season differently now. But I think that so much of the narrative for the past month or two has been how the hell are they not voting out Joe? He's obviously going to win if he gets to the end. And obviously that wasn't the case. He got one vote at debate and it came from Cedric.
We talked about this. Go ahead. I would say we talked about this with Sam, right? Where it's like people on the island think they're a threat or not a threat. And then us at home have the complete opposite based on editing or what we've seen.
Right.
So there's always those situations too, where they have a different
people did view Joe as a threat to win. Like it was said in confessionals.
But it's not just to win though. I think that's the other element of this too. So like I'm annoyed with people like Mitch, who I think could have won, but Joe could not only did they win, they controlled the island. So when you're not taking these threats out earlier, you're not just saying, oh, this guy could win. It's like now you're losing power in the game. Like you got to go and take out a bigger threat earlier so you can, in theory, run the island. And I think that's where they kind of missed their shot. It wasn't just taking out Joe because he could win. It was taking out your chance to control the game.
Yeah, but I think, you know, if you're Kyle, you're like, well, I am controlling the game. Like everyone, if I keep Joe around.
But not Mitch. And not Star,
well, obviously,
and not like, but not the other people. Not
they all
not David.
Out 1,000%. But duh. I'm saying more for like Kyle, where it's like, if his plan was to be like, I'll go far with Joe because if I blindside him, he's going to take it personal. He's a guy that's going to take that personal, and I don't want to do that. And I think I could beat him at the end. Then I get that move from his perspective. But yeah, everybody else should have voted him out. And I'll say if Joe won, then I think, yeah, a lot of people Kyle would have been like, why the fuck did I take this guy at the end? What was I thinking? Obviously, he was going to win. I think Joe could have ended up being a deserving winner. We didn't see him talk at Final Tribal Council at all. Yeah, but like, he was almost coach in South Pacific where he was like a cult leader out there. Like, it was like they were all drinking Joe's juice, doing whatever he said. Like, he had a spell on him. So if Joe ended up winning, I think he would have been a very deserving winner. I think we'd also be talking about him as one of the most dominant wins. He'd have all those challenge wins and never really being in danger. But clearly there was a disconnect between what the audience thought was going to happen and how people felt on the island.
Can I say something without being yelled at?
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted to make an argument for himself because I don't think he wanted to take votes away from Eva.
I kind of agree.
I don't think he wanted to make an argument against Eva, but I mean, listen, he wanted to win $1 million.
I don't know if he did, and and nothing points to him. Nothing points to him wanting to win more than he wanted her to win.
I think he just isn't a guy that was going to be good at Final Tribal Count. Like, I think he's just not a guy that's like
firefighter family ran the game. He could have made an argument.
But he does like from what I remember.
He's going against a lawyer and someone who's like a college.
Well,
right.
He ain't even try.
I don't think he knew how.
Probably I think bag of tricks, Nate.
He wasn't a big Survivor fan. Like an idiot. Like he knows how to like talk. Like he can like defend himself.
He knows how to talk to people and like be a likable guy in like a courtroom setting of like owning your game. I don't think he was cut out for. He wasn't a big fan of the show. Like I think he said watched like a couple or a few seasons, so he probably doesn't really get the intricacies of like the game of like owning your game at Final.
You're acting like he's 4 years old. John Rich, like he's an adult. He knows how to talk. He knows how to defend himself.
You can know how to talk and not know how to like.
There's different ways to speak.
I mean, if he really didn't know like anything about Survivor, then I guess maybe he like didn't know that challenges matter and that like you really don't think he had like any concept of like I was running this entire game like. He just didn't even like try to pitch that. I mean, maybe, but like that seems kind of far fetched to me.
I think it might have been so easy for him that Joe went the whole game without learning anything about Survivor. I think Joe might have went in with a basic understanding of Survivor. And was like, "Hey guys, do you want to like have a majority alliance and vote out the people on the outside?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, Joe, that sounds great." And he never had to think past level A.
And Nate, I disagree with your assessment that he didn't want to win. Like, he competed really hard in those challenges.
I don't think he wanted to win more than he didn't want her to lose. I'm saying, like, he didn't want to take votes away from her. He would have been perfectly as happy winning as he would have been with her winning.
I kind of agree. I think that
that'll argue with less
from her, and I'm sure he would have been very happy if she won. But I don't think he went into it being like, "I'm going to throw this so Eva can win."
Right. I don't think he wanted her to lose, but I think he still wanted to win. That makes any sense?
It's kind of like a testament to his character and like how much he cared about her. But I think we saw this sort of thing happen. Like he's even on the record. I would have to find it where like he kind of said like I'm willing to sacrifice my game to keep her happy, keep her alive, to keep her. He's very on the record with that way of thinking. And again, that's like a dynamic of the show that I'm not really arguing is like a good or bad thing. It's just part of what happens when you cast people on the show. But he's definitely said stuff like that before.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, well, I'll wait till we get to Final Tribal. But let me just so whatever. Kyle takes Joe. We covered most of the Eva fire stuff. I don't think we need to rehash that. And Camila just being bad, like awful at fire. But so final three: Kyle, Joe, Eva. I feel like we talked about her a lot, but I want to give more flowers to Camila. I thought she was just really a fun character and a good player. And she like I think if there was another heroes versus villains too, she'd be a villain. Like I think some of her confessionals were like more villainous and like I know that she had a lot of underdog.
Is no a villain nowadays, Tommy?
I mean, I'm saying like if you're doing new era female villain, she's got to be top 10. And like, listen, she had the underdog of like my family thinks somebody voted out first, not going to win these challenges. But just in terms of like she had multiple confessionals where she'd be like, I was running people over with a bus. I ran over them and I ran back over them, and it's fun. And I've been lying to people. Like that is a villain in the new era.
Yeah, she didn't end up like having to really actually be a villain, but in the very beginning, I forget who it was, but she turned like the entire tribe against like, multiple. Yeah, like and maybe like somebody else. Like she was lying to people, like kind of like through their faces, like from the very jump, and managed to burn her entire tribe against other people. And then since they were doing the whole honesty thing, she just kind of chilled with Kyle until the end because she didn't have to do that anymore. But she's got it in her.
I hope we see her in 50.
So there's rumors that we'll see one season 50 or a male and a female from this season. The original rumors were it was going to be Say. If it's Say, I'm going to fucking
Oh.
that would be the most ridiculous thing.
Oh, give me more Say. More Say.
I think it might be Joe
Say
and Camila.
less.
What about David?
Somebody just said Thomas in the chat. I'll take Thomas again.
Not for 50. I would like to
Not
see
for
him play
50,
again.
but Thomas was a great villain.
He'd be a good second chance. Like, he's perfect for a second chance season.
Oh, Mustache Thomas. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, final tribal council. Am I missing anything else before that? No. Final tribal council. Cedric
The
getting
only thing, real quick, just real quick. That cutaway of the jury giving they're there and like they waste 20 minutes of our time, 15 minutes, whatever, 10 minutes of our time with the jury just like giving confessionals is such a waste of time. Like, just stop. Like, make the show shorter. Then we don't need it.
I didn't hate that. I mean,
I
guess
know what I'd like to see.
kind
I'd
of-
like to see less of that and more of final tribal council.
Sure.
I guess it didn't amount to much, but I did kind of like hearing where they were coming from. But I guess that's maybe just because in tribal council, like lately, we haven't got much. So I felt like I actually knew where a few of them were coming from in regards to like certain players. Like when Shaheen talked, I was like, oh, okay, like Shaheen, like definitely as of now is on Kyle's side.
You
And
can
there were a
even
couple
tell at Final Tribal too, Shaheen was clearly on Kyle's side.
Yeah.
Like, I think he really respected the move Kyle and Camila pulled to blindside him. And I was watching his face when the votes were coming out. Like, when a vote came out for Joe and 2 for Eva, he was looking at
He was
Camila like,
shocked.
yeah. He was like, we didn't all vote for Kyle?
When the Eva vote came out, you looked like his mouth hit the floor, which was stunning.
Yeah.
When
Final
they did the
Tribal-
second Eva vote, I was like, remember your shock when Gabler won? I was ready for that again.
So, I mean, honestly, I thought Eva had a great Final Tribal. Like,
Great.
I thought she made a pretty compelling pitch. Like, I went into it. I think most people are like, "Oh, it's Kyle or Joe." I was like, after seeing that, I was like, "Wow, Eva might have a." I was pretty confident Kyle was going to win throughout, like for at least the last couple of weeks. Tonight too, like once he won the challenge, but it was definitely the most of probably most new era Final Three where it's like I'm not really sure who's gonna like. I think all three had a legit case at one point.
She sold me. I was like, that's the winner. Like, she had me hook, line, and sinker.
And when the first
she was
question
great.
was, again, I forget who asked it, but like they
Cedric.
basically like asked like what was your strategic move? And Kyle's answer, he started talking about like being arrested.
Oh no! The first question was Cedric, which was funny, where he's like,
Well, yeah, that.
I don't know. Does anyone have any like weaknesses or shortcomings they had to overcome? Eva, we'll start with you, I guess. Like, that was so obviously a producer plan because Cedric was probably like going to ask them the dumbest question of all time, and the producers were like, Cedric, why don't you get the ball rolling on the whole autism thing?
He probably asked them what question to ask. But then somebody asked what like
Mary asked,
yeah,
what
Mary
was your
asked
secret
strategic
move?
moves, and Kyle's answer had nothing to do with that.
No.
But then he got to it later,
Yes.
and it was fine. But for a second there, I was like, oh no, like we're never even going to hear about him and Camila.
Well,
yeah, it was Mary was like big secret move, and I was like, here we go. Like, this is going to be the drop. I've been secretly working with Camila all game. She gave me her idol. We took out David. We took out Shaheen. And he's like, I went to jail. I was like, what the hell, Kyle? That was not the moment. That was not the
texted
moment.
you like, oh no, Kyle's just not going to say it. And then he did like 2 seconds later.
So then, I mean, he got really alley-ooped for it, where I forget who asked it, but it was something like proudest strategic move. And Eva was like, on the Shaheen vote, me and Joe like had Kyle come to us and like we sniffed that out. And that couldn't have worked out better because then Camila alley-oops it to Kyle where he's like, well, me and Camila kind of played you. I lied and said that she had an idol. And you could said that she had an idol. And you could see the shock on Joe and Eva's face.
Question.
I got goosebumps during that moment. The music.
In Final Tribals, when they out these big moves that nobody else knew about, do they look around to get confirmation to make sure like this isn't another ploy? Like, how do they know that it's not another ruse or whatever?
I would bet that like Camila got to Ponderosa and told all them a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
okay.
I think so
that
too.
makes
I
sense.
think you see when that all happens, you see Kyle's face light up the second Eva is like trying to brag about this move that she thought she made, and that was the moment when it all hits. That was really, if someone missed this entire episode, 3 hours, but you watched that 90 seconds, you saw all you needed to see.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I honestly thought, and then when Eva revealed that she had the safety without power advantage and didn't tell anyone, that like a few people seemed to get impressed with that. It really didn't end up mattering because
that wasn't even a move. That was just,
yeah. But like that, that was another moment where I was like, this is working for her. But I thought we were going to see a lot more of Kyle talking about the relationship with with Camila, because that was such a focal point of the story the whole season, the secret alliance. And if one of us gets to the end and we drop that bomb, I thought he was going to talk about, the idling out Thomas and, protecting Camila when they blindsided David, and more about the Shaheen vote and, acknowledging that only one of us can get to the end. I'm sure that all happened at Final Travel goes like 2 or 3 hours. So I'm sure that all got discussed and they just didn't show it in the edit. But as a viewer, I wanted to see that in the edit. Like I wanted to see, the whole payoff of the whole season was supposed to be the whole reveal of him and Camila. And we got a little with Shaheen vote, but I was expecting even more. And maybe it was just because it would have been too obvious that Kyle won if they showed all that they wanted to leave some suspense up and show some good Eva moments. But I thought we were going to get that. I thought that David did a knock-knock joke. I mean, classic David. You can't predict him. But, I thought he was going to go at Joe and be like, you went back on your word. I thought Joe was going to be a coach or a Hoboken Mike, not owning his game. There was nothing.
You cannot undersell that knock-knock joke. That was the longest silence I have ever heard in my life. They sat there for 3.5 minutes before they said who's there, and then David just nailed the punchline. I think David has to be a returning player for a joke player, as I someone that's a haha funny guy on the show has no chance of winning. He is the best of the new era for sure.
He thought this whole thing, this long con of him pretending to be mad, was this unbelievable reveal.
Classic prank.
When no one gave a shit. It was such a bizarre. He has such main character syndrome. It was unbelievable.
But it's perfect, David.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. But Jeff was like, no, Jeff gave a shit. Jeff at the reunion was like, David, I thought you were mad the whole time. It worked on some people.
But it didn't matter if it worked or not. It was pointless.
Yeah,
it had no staring at anything.
It
wasted our time.
He's the best.
You know what? I'm going to throw out an early jib cut.
Wow.
And I would actually say it is maybe one of the jib cuts I feel strong, where it's like a true spirit of the jib cut. We talk about the spirit of the bracket when we do the bracket podcast. This is like a true spirit of jib cut, where it's not because they made a big move, but just a little thing they did that I said, I like the cut of their jib. Chrissy. I really like Chrissy. When she was like, Joe and Eve, you guys talk about playing the whole game together. Are you going to go at each other at all? Are you ever going to say anything bad about each other? I really think Chrissy could have been a real engaging player on this season. And even when she was still in it, she was like, are you guys fucking serious? Is anybody here to play the game? Or are y'all here to make friends? And then tonight, I think Chrissy had a potential to be a villain and a good player and way different than that mom archetype that we would have seen. I'm in on Chrissy.
Yeah, Chrissy was saying stuff that'll get me in trouble, so I'm out on that stuff.
Her problem was the only time Chrissy ever said anything was during Tribal.
Right.
I felt like she never did anything during the game, and then it would come Tribal, and she would kind of say a lot of shit that made sense, but at that point, everyone's mind was just made up.
Also, might not have been seen. She could have been talking.
Being a good social player is hard, and you see that very quickly with people like her. But I liked her calling out the bullshit. We need more people like that. And that was the overall theme of this season, was friendship, was making s'mores on the campfire. Honestly. So she's not wrong.
Yeah. It was Kumbaya Survivor for sure.
But isn't part of the game adjusting to the people you're around? This was a group that would get every morning and watch the sunrise together. And it was a lot of the Kumbaya stuff. And that's what you need to do to win this season. That's bad on Chrissy for not being able to adjust.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's a credit to Kyle that I think he said it like a month ago, where he was like, "This is the season we're playing." Like, I forget it was a really good confessional where he was like, "There's some seasons where the cast will respect big moves and blindsides. I'm looking around me. I don't think Joe, for example, or Eva or David are going to be those type of people. I think that they respect loyalty and honesty, and they won't vote for me at the end if I betray them. So I think that, yeah, you have to adjust on the fly. Might not make for great TV, but what do they fucking care? They're trying to win $1 million.
Yeah, Kyle played great. Like, when you put it that way,
Yeah.
He played the hand he was dealt.
He was great. I really enjoyed watching Kyle, and I hope we see Kyle again.
I'm trying to think, like, strategic wise, putting Kyle in a returning, whatever, like a season 40. I wish there was ways. I mean, we will in like 10 years with AI. I really want to see how, like, we know Gabler nothing, but I would like to see, is Kyle good or was he just on a bad season? Like,
I think Kyle is good. I think that Kyle is a guy where if you put him in almost any, I'm not saying he'd win every season, but I think that he, and he talked about it at Final Tribal, and we talked about this with Sam last week too, where like he's very average, and that's kind of what you have to be. I mean, I think Kyle's probably above average in all the things he said, but like he's not an obvious physical threat like David. He's not, the most loud player, but he's, he's good enough at a lot of different things to like, he reminds me, honestly, if I had to give him a comp, it might be Tommy from season 39, the winner of Island of the Idols, the ginger guy. That he gets very forgotten because everyone tries to forget that season ever happened because one, Survivor 40 Winners at War followed it up, and two, there was like a rapist on the season. So those two things usually make people forget about season 39, but very similar games to me. Maybe I don't know if anyone in the chat has a game comp for Kyle, but to me, they were just kind of quiet, social, but just like guys who are always going to be pretty good at Survivor.
Yeah, I like what Shuey7 said. He had great patience. Like, it was just, he never got too high. He never got too low. He didn't rush any big moves. And it's not like the sexiest game, but he wasn't boring either. Like, I don't know. He was just a very
good narrator.
Yeah.
Now I have an early jib cut too. Then it's actually to Kyle. I liked how he was describing himself. He's like, look, I'm the best average guy you're ever gonna meet. He's like, I'm good at, I'm okay at challenges. I'm okay at like social play. He's like, I'm kind of good looking. And then Camila had a funny line, like kinda, but he's right. Like if you can check all the boxes, you don't need to be A+ and everything, but if you can be a B and everything, it can go a long way.
Yeah, and I think he's
but he's not the annoying Erica Marianne, like bad at everything. Like he was good at Survivor, which makes it like he's the best winner of the last since 41, right? Like,
in the new era.
I agree.
Strategic winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not telling you.
I saw someone on Twitter was saying Rachel from last season. I think she's such an overrated winner. She was immune like 4 times. Like, to me, I always respect the game of strategy, social, and I think he had that down. I think he's the best winner of the new era.
Yeah, people say D. I didn't. What was that? 40.
Yeah, that was.
We didn't do a podcast of that season.
Yeah, I think it's Kyle easily. I mean, I don't think Rachel. I think Rachel's very overrated. I think deserving winner. I'm trying to think of other stuff from Final Try. Oh, I mean, so 5 votes for Kyle, 2 votes for Eva. From Mary and Star, the Mary vote shocked me. Star what?
Star vote. She took her
idol. No, I thought Star was going to vote Eva. She gave her an idol.
I thought she would have some regret about that.
No.
To justify it, I guess.
But the perfect cherry on top to the season is Cedric, who voted wrong at every tribal council. And we said it all season long. We said we guarantee Cedric will not vote for the winner. Not only did not vote for the winner, he was the only person to vote for the person who comes in third. And Joe, it was the perfect story arc for
Cedric. I'll never forget Cedric. Cedric brought a lot of joy into my life these last couple months. He never failed to entertain me. There's a lot of people that play Survivor. There's only one Cedric.
It's very true.
If you're not going to win, be memorable, right, Clemmer?
Absolutely.
Like, I'll never forget the Pizza 4 ever.
That's true. Although I mean, because I can say it here. Like, Survivor people should understand what I'm saying. I'm saying the tribe and a number. That's not weird.
That wasn't a shot at you.
Non-Survivor people are all like, why would you ever
I'm
say
sorry if
people
that
you don't
came out
know?
wrong. I'll
Like,
never
you guys
forget
get
that.
These people get it.
You made it interesting.
it is. No, I don't think it was that you named it. I think it was just the amount that you discussed, the amount you talked about as if
Well,
it was
that
a
was
real
edited
thing.
a certain way, Tommy. Like, I don't think
I
like
know, but
people like it was. I mean, I don't think it was like I was saying it like a maniac. Like, I think I would say it in confessionals talking about the group. Like,
no, it was just funny when it would cut from you being like Pizza 4 till we die, and then Dave and Maria being like, I think Clemmer thinks we're in an alliance.
Well, right. I totally misjudged the alliance. That's fair.
yeah.
But I think
that's where the
term
humor
Pizza
comes
4,
from.
Survivor, I can say it here. Survivor fans should understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
Nate,
fair.
you can't shit on me for that.
I'm not. That was a compliment.
He wasn't.
I swear, you did not win, but you were memorable. I couldn't tell you who else was on that cast. Like, Dave got second, Rhea won. You were in the Pizza 4. That's what I remember.
I'll take it.
All right.
Movie was on it.
That's right. She beat me. Yes.
See?
Came in
My
fourth.
point. She beat you?
Jib cuts.
I barely made the jury.
Came
I
in
beat
like
Mincy.
6
That's the only person I beat on the jury.
Oh, yeah. And then Whitney was in the okay.
Whitney was next.
Yeah.
So me and Clemmer did our jib cuts, Nate, John, Rich.
Let's see. I'll give it to I'm just gonna give it to Camila because I had her as a winner pick the whole time. And from the very first episode, had her as a winner pick. And at the very end, apparently she was the true winner, according to all of the people who said they would have voted for her. So jib cut to Camila, but kind of to me in proxy. So me and Camila.
Eric?
I'm between two people. I invented the jib cut. I can probably break it in half and give half to each person.
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, you can. It's the last episode.
We're bad
Eva?
boys. No rules.
Eva's got to get it. And she hasn't got one jib cut the whole time, Nate.
I was gonna give half to Shaheen because he just seems like a great bro to
He had
chill
a
with.
good
I
jib.
just,
He had a
That's
good
my
jib.
point. It's
He
a
had a
fun
good
season to
jib.
hang out with.
I just really like the cut of his jib. But
That's the spirit.
I mean, he's the Star also gets half a jib cut, but Eva
Always.
gets half a jib cut because I was really mean to her. So I'm gonna give her a jib cut as like a olive branch that she still won 1,000 fucking challenges, went to every reward, finished second, built the fire. Like, she did a lot of things right. I think I was more just angry at the way the show revolved around Eva, and there's been other contestants with disabilities who it didn't revolve around them, and that's kind of what grinded my gears a bit with her. But regardless, I mean, speak of memorable, we're never going to forget her. So
Nate, you're mad at Eva. You're mad at Eva because she was given a lot of things, and you just gave her something because she's ugly.
well, yeah.
Part of the problem.
I'm an enabler. At the end of the day, I'm an enabler.
And we forgot to mention it. It's the Star Tooney jib cut of the week.
True.
I saw some
We also
Star
had
Magic
this-
didn't get one, so
I thought it was the Slay Queen Star. of
Thank
the
you,
week
Star.
also.
yes, Slay Queen Star Tooney jib cut of the week.
Mother Quake of the week.
Mother quick.
Yeah. I want to talk a little about season 50 before we wrap up, but any other thoughts on Survivor 48?
Can I just say poor Survivor 49?
Oh,
No
I
one
know.
doesn't give a fuck about this season because everyone's talking about 50.
Yes.
Oh
Well,
yeah, shit. I forgot. Yeah, I kind of forgot this wasn't 49.
It was cool seeing. So you can never tell anything from a promo anymore. Like, it used to be like it would reveal the theme of the season, right? You know, it'd be like next season, Survivor, blue collar, white collar, no collar. Like, it's all right, Survivor, 18 people again in 3 tribes of 6. But when I was in Fiji, we saw the taping of Survivor 49. So I was like, oh, I like that guy. I remember seeing him. Like, I remember seeing that person dressed like that. Because you can't really hear their names from where we were. But I was like, oh, I remember that general look. So Riz God was kind of I don't remember. Like,
chat won't shut up about Riz God.
Yeah.
The chat loves Riz God. He's the kid in the red shirt.
I missed I'll go back and watch it, but was that the most memorable thing was Riz God?
Yeah, I can't even think of anything else.
Okay.
Riz God.
I'd say overall, Survivor 48, not going to win any awards. Probably in the bottom.
No, the fucking woke Emmys is probably going to give it reality show moment of a lifetime award.
Probably bottom 15, 20 seasons of all time. But I think there's a chance it might age well because Kyle won. I think the fact when a season has a satisfying winner, I think it gives it overall a better thing where now instead of watching the whole season and being like, why aren't they getting rid of Joe and Eva? Why aren't they getting rid of Joe and Eva? You could watch it and be like, oh, well, Kyle won. So, of course, it's fine that they didn't get rid of Joe and Eva. I think Eva, people being a little bit too mean, being too mean to her. I thought,
I just gave her a jib cut, dude. What's
gave
more
her a jib cut, but
that?
good arc, good story. Joe, great guy. David, a compelling character. Mary, there were some good characters.
Star, ever heard of her?
Players. Star, Cedric. Chrissy, like jib cut.
Like same as a character. Like
we got robbed of Thomas. He should have been around.
I agree. There were good characters on this season. It just didn't work. They didn't play well or whatever. But
they didn't play. They didn't make enough moves. They
Camila,
didn't have enough,
obviously.
They didn't have enough courage, I guess.
I think it's gonna age well. I think it's gonna age like a fine wine.
There's no strategy in it though.
Kyle,
you're not
Kyle and Camila, great strategy.
Kyle and Camila, but two out of the 18 people played strategically.
It definitely was not like a strategic.
No.
Like so, and I was gonna say about Kyle, like a really good winner. Like, but as we say, he didn't play a flashy game. Like, I'll go back sometimes and I'll watch like Tony win highlights or Boston Rob win highlights. I'm not going back and watching like Kyle win highlights on YouTube. Like he played a quiet, like I don't even know what that would be. Like he played a quiet, savvy game. It wasn't like in your face, but well deserving. And I think he played a game that I would hope to play. He played a really strong game.
I wouldn't go back and watch Sandra highlights either, but she's still
me neither.
One of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah. Not flashy, but dominant in his own way. Survivor 50 cast reveal is going to be Wednesday. There was a rumor it was going to be today. I think the rumor just came from the Survivor Instagram account. They posted it wrong, but it's going to be Wednesday. I think Jeff said he's revealing it at some show that's on 7 a.m. next Wednesday morning.
Probably, what do they call it, the early show on CBS? I think they used to have, they have a top, obviously CBS, but I think they used to have, maybe the winners would show up on that. Remember back in the day?
Yeah, it was always the next day or a couple of days later. So some rumored people from season 50. So the thing it's basically going to be is that there's no theme from it's just going to be returning players of varying eras. So this is from Big Brother Spoilers. This is the updated rumored Survivor 50 cast based on things people know. We have Elizabeth Hasselbeck from season 2.
Wow.
Australian Outback, an OG Survivor name.
Yep.
Stephanie LaGrossa from Palau, Guatemala, Heroes vs. Villains. I had a big crush on her as a kid. Great physical player. Suri, legend.
Yeah.
People are like, how many times I need to see Suri play? I'll watch Suri play every time.
She does the other shows too, right? I don't watch.
She did Traders. Yeah.
All the other stuff.
Yeah. Amanda Kimmel, who another one, don't mind seeing her on my TV. She was one of the first, I feel like, dominant Survivor women players. She's in the Black Widow alliance with Parvati. Would be cool to see her back.
Never won?
Never won.
Yeah.
Came in second 2 years in a row. Chrissy Hoffbeck from season 35, older blonde woman. She went to the end and lost to Ben, the guy with the cowboy hat. I actually liked her a lot. I thought she deserved to win that year. She had a villainous streak in her. I liked her. What is this girl's fucking? So I'm looking at pictures, but Angelina from David vs. Goliath. She's been considered a lock. She was the one that came in third. She was she was the one that asked for the jacket on the way out. Can I have your jacket, please? Can I have your jacket? I think she'd be good to see back. Marianne, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
And again, this is this could be half right. There's one guy, Redmond, who always has the list. This isn't his list. So this could be wrong, but these names are at least in the talk. Marianne, that stinks. What is this girl's name from 45? Emily Flippin. She was like an interesting character where she struggled early, but had a good redemption arc. She's someone that was like seen as being seen.
Oh, her.
Genevieve and Rachel from last year. The winner, Rachel, and Genevieve, I think I'd be excited to see back.
I would too. Genevieve, I think, has a lot of game. Like, she's a very interesting player.
Yeah. Colby.
Wow. Colby Donaldson?
Colby Donaldson, legend.
Another season 2 person.
I think that's one where it's like,
talk about someone I had a crush on back in the day.
Yeah, I think it's like you got to have some names for the OGs, right? Like you got to have. Yeah, and we saw like grumpy Colby in Heroes vs. Villains. Like he was an old man. Like him being even grumpier, I think, is funny. Ozzy.
Oh, right. Let's go.
He's similar to Suri, where people are like, do we really need to see Ozzy back again? Yeah, give me Ozzy. He's a good draw for the older.
That makes me think this list is wrong because I thought CBS was staying away from him because the whole hardcore.
I've seen Ozzy on like every list.
Really? I mean, that would be great. Everybody loves Ozzy. I thought CBS was parting ways with him.
I don't think so. Coach was a recent add to this list. I don't know if he's actually on it. That's one where people are less sure. I'll never complain about seeing Coach. I like the preseason 20 people on. Then we have a lot of like older, new era guys. Christian, he's a lock, I think, from David vs. Goliath, the nerdy guy. Rick Devens from season 38. He was with all the challenges, the news anchor, reporter. Nate, you'll love this. Jonathan.
Oh, yeah. Still my heart.
We'll all love this. Q.
Oh, we saw Q at the premiere.
Oh, Q.
Yeah. Charlie.
The billionaire salesman.
Charlie from season 46. He came in like second, younger guy. I thought he was a good player. Andy, who I'd love to see back. He'd be one of the new era people I'd want to see back. And this has Joe on it too. Again, I don't think that's going to be correct. I don't think that's all 20. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. But those are at least some names that are in the running.
Would they really not have anybody from one, but maybe there's no one who would like want to do it? Or like...
There are rumors of Greg. But
my God, my first Survivor guy I've ever was rooting for.
Yeah, I'd love to see him back. I think seeing him 25 years older from like the young snotty kid he was would be funny.
He was funny.
Yeah, he was very.
I liked Greg a lot.
Like snotty, sarcastic. I mean,
yeah, he wasn't he was funny.
Yeah, I think he's a really funny character. So yeah, some people are saying they heard Greg is on. No, I did not say his picture and think it was Marianne. It was Marianne.
No celebrities, like none of the John Rocker, Jimmy Johnsons.
No, I think the celebrities are like Suri and Ozzy and Cole.
Yeah, like in current day, they've had plenty of athletes on. Rocker would be great.
I don't want to spend too much time thinking about it because I don't think this will be the cast. Maybe we'll do an episode over the offseason, like when the cast gets announced or something. But
it'll be next week, Tom.
Yeah, well, whatever. We don't have to do it next week. But one thing I do like is, listen, part of me is like, I'd love to see 20 of like the legends, but how many times can you see Boston Rob and Ozzy and Suri and Coach all out on the same island? The answer for me is every time. I would watch
I don't have a
every time. But I understand, like, if you want, you got to make new legends too, right? Like some of these new era people who've only played once or newer, you got to see them play again and build their resumes and get themselves onto that pantheon. But to me, the thing I want to be most fascinated in is seeing like Colby and Q have a conversation. Like how does Elizabeth Hasselbeck and Genevieve, like someone from season 2 who played when it was like, let's build a fire and try to survive, for someone who like is like Genevieve who pulled off Operation Italy. Like there's going to be so many different, and then there's going to be the aspect of like, are like Ozzy and Suri and Colby get like a god treatment from like a Charlie or an Andy or so many of these newer players that are like Survivor super fans? Like, are they not going to be able to view them as an equal? Are they going to view them as like, this is them, I got to work with them? Like, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting factors. And sure, it's not the 20 greatest players of all time, but if the cast is somewhat similar to that, I think it'll be a good season.
Do we know it's 20? Did they maybe think about bumping up to 24 or something for the? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Actually, I'm surprised I just counted out 20. I thought the rumors were it was going to be 18.
Right. Or yeah, I guess we don't know. We don't know. They haven't said what the final number is going to be, right? CBS.
Correct. No.
Okay. I'm excited for Wednesday now. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll find out. That's it. Yeah. Survivor 49 will be back in the fall.
Are we going to be back in the fall? Are you going to be able to do it, Tommy? You're always tough in the fall.
Yeah. I'll be able, and I think I'm going to check it on the screeners list. I had that conversation in Fiji, so maybe we can get some screeners for next season, make our lives a little bit easier. But we'll do something over the off season, maybe with this 50 cast. But subscribe, like. Thank you guys for following all season long. Was it the best season ever? No, but did we have fun along the way? You're goddamn right we did.
Sure did.
All right.
Star.
No, I'm not on season 49, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Wink, wink. All right.
50 maybe.
That's it. I'll see you guys for season 49. Bye.